Have you ever wondered why some women are impossible to forget? Even after time, distance, and silence, their presence lingers. It's not just their face, not just the sound of their laughter. It's something deeper, something the mind keeps replaying when no one's watching. You see, memory isn't logical. It's emotional. We don't remember people because we choose to. We remember them because a part of us still feels them. Maybe you've been that woman, the one who gave her all, who thought he'd never stop thinking about her. But then he drifted, faded, disappeared. And now you wonder, does he ever think about me? The truth is, yes, he does, but not because you chased him, not because you texted, called, or begged him to remember. It's because of what you became in his story. There's a psychology to staying in someone's mind, an invisible art of emotional resonance. It's not about manipulation. It's about energy. The energy you leave behind when you stop trying to be remembered. And once you understand how the male mind connects memory, attraction, and emotion, you'll never chase again. You'll know how to stay in his head long after the talking stops. Because sometimes, the quietest women are the loudest in a man's memory. And the ones who never beg to be remembered are the ones he can't stop remembering. So today, we'll uncover 5 powerful psychological ways to stay in his mind forever. You don't stay in his mind through appearance. You stay because of how you made him feel. Men may forget what you wore, but they never forget the moment they felt something real. Psychologically, men are not driven by logic when it comes to attraction. They're driven by emotional triggers buried in memory. A tone of voice, a look, a silence that made him question himself. To leave an emotional imprint, you must connect with his subconscious, not his ego. And that happens when you don't try to impress him. You make him feel seen. When a woman mirrors a man's emotion subtly, not through words, but through presence, his brain releases oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, the chemistry of bonding and nostalgia. That's why months later, when he's with someone new, he still compares her to you. He can't explain why, but something about you felt different. You didn't perform. You were real. You didn't demand his attention. You earned his curiosity. Because the mind doesn't crave what it already understands. It replays what it can't decode. And when you leave him wondering what your silence meant, you stay in his thoughts, rent-free. Men are hunters by instinct, but emotionally, they only chase what feels uncertain. When you disappear with elegance, not anger, you trigger curiosity. And curiosity is the seed of obsession. Absence creates psychological contrast. It forces the brain to fill in the blanks. He begins to imagine what you're doing, who you're with, what you're thinking. He scrolls past your name in his messages, hesitates, and wonders if reaching out will make him seem weak. That hesitation is power, because your absence made space for imagination. And imagination is stronger than memory. The secret isn't ghosting. It's graceful withdrawal. It's pulling back after connection. When your energy has already touched something deep inside him, you become the what if that lives rent-free in his quiet moments. Every time he feels bored, lonely, or unfulfilled, his mind replays you. Because you didn't leave dramatically. You left beautifully. And that beauty created unfinished emotional business. He doesn't want to admit it, but the silence you left behind echoes louder than your words ever did. A woman who values herself becomes unforgettable, not because of arrogance, but because her energy feels rare. Most people chase love to feel complete. But when you walk in wholeness, when your world doesn't revolve around him, he senses it. He may not understand it, but his subconscious recognizes power. Psychology calls a perceived value shift. When you show that your happiness, your peace, and your identity exist independently of him, his brain registers scarcity. And scarcity makes things memorable. You stay in his mind because you didn't make him your world. You showed him what it feels like to be a part of yours. Briefly, and then you let go. That's when his curiosity starts to grow roots. Because the mind chases closure it never received. And the most unforgettable woman is the one who never begged to be remembered. She simply became someone worth remembering. Men don't obsess over the loudest women. They remember the ones who knew their worth quietly. That silence, It becomes his favorite sound. Here's a secret most never understand. People remember the ones who made them see themselves differently. When you mirror a man's emotional state subtly, you awaken his self-awareness. And self-awareness is addictive. Maybe you've noticed this. The more deeply someone understands you, the harder they are to forget. So when you listen without judgment, when you respond to his emotions instead of his words, you create resonance, not reaction. This resonance is a psychological phenomenon known as empathic mirroring. It tells his brain, she gets me, and once he feels emotionally recognized by you, your presence becomes a comfort his subconscious craves. That's why he'll remember how you looked at him when he was quiet, or how you didn't try to fix him. You just stayed still, calm, connected. You made him feel safe in his own chaos. And the human mind never forgets safety. Because love isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's the peace that came after the storm. He may not say it, but when life gets loud again, he'll search for the calm he once felt when he was with you. Here's the paradox of attraction. You become unforgettable the moment you stop trying to be remembered. When you let go, truly let go, you shift from attachment to energy. And men feel that shift more deeply than words could ever express. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop forcing. You accept what was, bless what is, and move on without resentment. This releases a vibration of self-respect, and that vibration lingers. Psychologically, the mind replays what feels incomplete. When you walk away without bitterness, you leave him with unfinished peace, and that peace becomes haunting. He'll remember the way you smiled when you could have argued. He'll remember the way you said goodbye, not out of anger, but grace, because grace is rare, and rarity is unforgettable. Letting go with grace tells his subconscious, she didn't need me to validate her worth. And that realization that he couldn't control your peace makes you eternal in his memory, because in a world full of attachment, detachment becomes magnetic. In the end, staying in a man's mind forever isn't about being louder, prettier, or more available. It's about energy. It's about the subtle, invisible ways your presence left fingerprints on his emotions. The quiet moments when you didn't say much, but your silence said everything. He may move on. He may fall in love again. But the version of him that existed when he was with you, that version will always remember. Because you taught him something about love he didn't know he needed to learn. You showed him that real connection doesn't demand attention. It creates presence. You became a mirror of his growth, a memory of peace, a symbol of what it felt like to be truly seen. So don't chase him. Don't try to make him remember. Just keep becoming the kind of woman who leaves an emotional fingerprint everywhere she goes. And one day, when he least expects it, he'll think of you. Maybe he'll smile. Maybe he'll regret. But he'll feel something. And he won't know why, because unforgettable isn't loud. It's silent. It's calm. It's the way your energy lingers, long after you've gone. If these words touch something inside you, share this video. Someone out there may need to hear this too. And if you want more videos that speak to your heart like this one, subscribe, because we're just getting started.